Hi everybody, it's Song here. Welcome to the Wednesday Night with Fly Unicorn. And today we're going to be creating a really fun mixed media canvas. Hopefully you can see it better once I turn the camera around. And the June Kit's pre-sale is already open now, so make sure you got your June Kit. I got the Mix Start, and let me tell you, so amazing, and you make sure you want that one. So many yummy art medium in there, and it's just, I love them with my whole heart. And next class is going to be Jennifer. So yay, Jennifer's going to, I don't know what she's going to create, but I'm sure it's going to be something really awesome and amazing. Okay, so now let's get this creating process started. And I'm going to turn the camera around, so cover your eyes because it's going to get really dizzy. Oh, thank you, Diva. I am going to try my best to read the chat. I have a huge screen now on my computer. Okay. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. There we go. Here's the blank canvas, and here's the finished canvas. Now the colors on the camera is a bit off. This like bluish color, they're actually really gorgeous teal color. Just trust me, they are. Okay? You can see the picture from the Fly Unicorn blog, and you can see the real colors of the project. So, I'm going to be using the Prima Cigar Box Secret paper. It's the 6 by 6. I was gonna say A4, but it's not. And you just choose some color of your choice from the paper. The whole color theme, as you can see from here, I'm going for the teal, yellow, and coral, which is the color theme of this paper collection. I love the color of that. So let me just tour some paper and then do the strips, okay? I am going to tour it using a let me find my ruler. Using a ruler. I don't want to like just tear it randomly. I want it to be kind of straight, right? So I'm just gonna do this. And it still will have the really beautiful torn edges, but it will be straighter, not so random. So I'm gonna do that. Okay. And do the same to this one. Apparently this one is not torn with ruler, but that's okay. Ignore this piece. I'm gonna throw this piece away. Alright. And normally I really don't care about this thing above the paper, this hanging part. I think it just adds extra texture and stuff, so I usually just keep it. But if you don't like it, you can totally rip that off. Hi Shannon. Hi everybody. Hi. I am trying my best to keep up with the chat. If I can't read it like immediately, and you need to give me some time, I probably would catch up later on. I'm gonna put my original canvas next to me so I can reference it. And I am going to just paste them down. I think I'm gonna use gel medium. Yeah, I'm gonna use some gel medium. Let's do gel medium. I'm going to do the 13 Arts one. I love the 13 Arts gel medium. I have already used so much, and it's a new bottle. So that tells you how much I love the gel medium. Now the canvas is white right now. It's going to make the camera go crazy. But that's okay. After we put some color down there, the camera will behave. I hope. Alright, so all we're doing just paste down some paper, and this paper actually is going to be covered up, pretty much covered up with paint and everything. So they're just really here for a texture purposes. And after the paint's dried, you can actually see some of the pattern of paper coming out, and that really adds the extra texture and dimension to your project. Now you can't really see it from the camera, but when you see it in person, you can see those subtle textures shining through, which is really beautiful. Okay, you can do as many strips or as little amount of strips as you want. I'm just gonna use 4 strips. I use like lots of strips on the other one, but you know, for the time's sake, I don't want to spend too much time drawing this gel medium. So I'm just going to use 4 thin strips. Okay, like that. Hi everybody. I am trying my best to catching up with the chat. Okay, just gonna really like adhere everything down. Like I don't even want them to have anything coming off the page, coming off the canvas. Just like really scrape them down, like fuse them with my canvas. Hi Tammy. Handy dandy paper towel. I don't know how you say it. Paper towel. Tower. Not tower. Definitely not paper tower. I know that. Let me try this real quick. You need to focus. Come on, focus camera. Focus, focus. Awesome. I'm gonna put this black color ink there so you can focus on that. Hi! Okay. Now one thing about gel medium is that if you just keep heating it, you'll feel like it never dries. You gotta like let it be cold and then touch it, and then you'll find out, oh, it's dried already. So don't just keep heating it. It'll feel like it's never dried when you keep the heat tool on it. Okay. And now we're going to add some really simple texture. Now the whole purpose of this canvas is just to play with colors. As you can see, I don't really, well, there are a lot of embellishment, but there are a lot of color going on, and that's what I'm going to do. And showing some techniques too. So I'm just going to apply the texture where I think I want the embellishment to be. So I'm going to apply some here, and some here. On this one, I didn't really do that, so the texture is a bit covered up, and I'm going to do it better on this canvas. And I'm going to use, let's see, some texture paste. I'm going to use my Liquitex texture paste, or you can use your 13R one if you have that. Okay, let's just start. Have fun with texture paste. I love texture paste and stenciling. It just adds so much to your project. And especially I love the texture paste that resist paints. There are some that don't really resist paints that well. Different companies have different properties of, I don't know what they put in there, but you know, they just don't act the same. And the Liquitex one, they resist color pretty well, I won't say. And the 13R one, I think they resist color pretty well as well. And the one I get at homemade ones, the ones I use gesso and baby powder, they are okay, but they don't really resist color that well. They kind of absorb more color than the other ones that I have used. And I'm going to apply it really thinly so I don't have to take forever for it to dry. Now I'm going to throw it in a tub of water. Do not ever let the paint on your stencil dry on you. Always, always wash it right after, or put it in a tub of water. Don't ruin your stencil. I am OCD on it. Okay. Now I'm going to dry this texture paste, and I'm going to look at the chat, and then we'll go apply those beautiful colors together. Hi everybody! Oh, there's so many people here now. Thank you guys so much for being here. So I'm trying to dry this real fast, but it's texture paste. It's gonna take a while for it to dry, and I don't want to do it ahead of time, so I'm just gonna look at the chat. I like to use my finger to touch it. I like to touch everything. It's not a good thing to do, but I like to touch everything. When I was a kid, my parents take me to stores, and I just touch everything I see, and they're like, Get your hands off stuff. If you break them, you're gonna bite them. So they don't really take me to store that much when I was a kid because I touched everything. And I still have this bad habit of touching everything. Yeah, I think the stencil they have on both 12 by 12 and the one I used, the rectangle one. So with whichever one you want, it's the same pattern. And I like the 12 by 12 one more, but when I buy it, there's only the rectangle one, so I got the rectangle one. See, I can't talk. Okay, now I'm going to apply some, nope, not going to do paint first. I forgot. I am going to do stamping first because I don't want to, after I do everything and I forgot to stamp and I have to stamp all my embellishment, I don't want that. So I'm going to stamp first. The stamp I'm using is Kaiser Craft stamp. It's called Distressed. This one's called Distressed. I love Kaiser Craft ones. They're so pretty. The texture on them is just amazing. Now here's a trick. When you do stamping, now this one don't really have those harsh edges, but if you have some stamps that have harsh edges, take your paper towel. I do that a lot. I just wipe off some of it, some areas, so the edges aren't like straightly straight on the harsh, if you know what I mean. It gives you more of a distressed look. So that's a little trick to you if you want the more distressed look. And I don't want to put some support under my canvas because, you know, canvas is soft. When you stamp on it, it tends to like make it sink in and don't get a full image, but that's fine on this case. I want it to be distressed, so I don't really care much about the sinking in problem. Okay. See, I love this texture. I just love how the distressed look that it has. It doesn't really need much pattern at all, just some like randomly stamped image, and it really just adds a lot to your project. I'm gonna clean the stamp real quick. I am not good at waiting until like after my project's done and then clean it. I always have to clean along the way when I make my project. Waste a lot of time, but sure does keep my stuff clean. Alright, now I'm going to do colors. Oh, look at me. Did not clean out this little palette here. I'm gonna clean this out real quick. I'm sorry. I was making a project earlier today and I forgot to clean this out. Okay, so what I'm going to do is when you add colors, now on this one, ooh, I opened up my my sound on my computer and I just heard my own voice and I don't like that. Okay, so when you apply colors to anything, keep in mind of what colors tends to tint other colors more, like what colors have a stronger tinting strength. I think that's the word for it. So in this color palette, the yellow is definitely the one with the least tinting strength. I can't talk. I can't even pronounce the word right. I know I'm not saying it right, but you know what I'm saying. Excuse me. So I'm going to add a yellow first. Excuse me. And then the red and the green, they both have like really similar tinting strength in this case. But I would like to say the green definitely, I mean the teal definitely is more overpowering than the red. So I'm going to do yellow and red and teal, okay? And I am going to go over and touch up some places after I am finished, after I apply the general color area. So to do this yellow paint, this is, I hope I can open this up. This is the 13 Arts metallic paint. I love this really vibrant color paint. So I'm going to stir it up. I want to stir up the mica at the bottom. And I'm just gonna spray the back of my paintbrush. And trust me, this is far enough of paint for you to use on this canvas, and it's still going to be really concentrated and pigmented. Okay, and I'm gonna use where's my paper towel? And I'm going to use a bigger brush. And I'm going to do some paint splattering. And this will get everywhere, everybody. This will get everywhere. So be real careful when you do this, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm just going to, oh, it's already getting everywhere. Splatter it on my desk. I mean, not desk. Well, it is splattering on my desk, but splatter it on my canvas. Okay. And do a bit of a controlled splatter. Don't just go crazy and splatter it everywhere. Focus on the area that you want the color to be in. Okay? Well, look at the yellow on the screen. It's so neon-like. It's metallic yellow. It's definitely not that neon color. But it looks like a neon color on there. Okay. Oh, my paints are getting everywhere. No. Alright. I'm going to splatter it. Again, control your splatter. Don't go trigger happy. I do that a lot. I go trigger happy a lot. So don't do that on this case. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just spread out your paint splatters. Now the reason that I don't just go over the area with paint directly is because I don't want to make my paint too overwhelmingly like everywhere. And by spreading out the paint splatters, it gives me more control over how much paint and it gives it more of a distressed and uneven like organic look, I should say. If I just go over it with my brush directly, it would not give me some of this look. Okay, so that's why I'm doing that. And I'm going to dry it between coats because any of these three colors, the mix with, you know, the color combination they come up just now. It's just not what I want on my palette. So I'm going to dry every layers of color. Ah! Don't drive my paint away. You two are too powerful. Thank you, Mary. Yeah, that's why I am doing this, because it looks more organic than if I just go over it with my paint everywhere. Okay, it's dry enough. And then now I'm going to do the red color. This is Color Rings My Bleeding Heart, one of the most gorgeous red color ever. It's really hard to find a nice red color spray in the market, and let me tell you, this is one of the best red color ever. I'm just gonna do the same thing, splatter it on there. Okay, again, control your splatter, don't go trigger happy. And I think I'm gonna go some of them right here. I am not really following the exact color pattern on my old canvas. I'm just doing whatever I like at this moment. Hopefully it's gonna turn out kind of similar. If not, it's okay. Alright. Don't knock your mist over, because I have done that. If you are clumsy like me, cap your mist. I have poured a whole bottle of black mist all over myself, and that's not a good day. Definitely not. So from this point on, I just remember either to cap it or leave it really far away. Right now it's not safe. It's not in a safe zone. Okay, I'm gonna cap it because I'm scared. Now I'm gonna dry again and then apply the teal color. Focus! Focus, camera! Here, have the ink. Focus. Okay, now it's focused. Now I know the colors all look really like neon color type on the camera. Trust me, they're not neon color. And I'm just looking at the screen and looking at the yellow color. It's so vibrant. It looks fake. Okay, now we're going to add this teal color. This is the Lindy's Time Travel teal, or I'm sorry, I couldn't really read this, but the last word is teal, so that's the color. I believe it's teal color if it says teal. So there we go. And again, do some splatter. Have fun with the splattering. Oh gosh, I feel like I'm going to mess this up. Because I feel like I did it in the wrong area, but that's okay. That is okay. We can always make up our mistake. Now this one is not that easy to splatter around because it's a bit thicker. I probably should have thinned it out in my little paint palette beforehand. Oh well, that's okay. That's okay. Okay. Now you have two choices. To wash off all this beautiful paint on your brush and waste it, or just go over it and make it real concentrated. I'm just gonna go over it and make it real concentrated. Okay? It looks like almost black on the camera, doesn't it? That's weird. That's really weird. It's a really nice deep teal color. Okay? So I'm gonna wash my brush now. It's way too concentrated, and I'm going to probably lift some color off. You can do that too with water-based paint, you know. Just go over with a dry brush and then just soak up some color. Or you can dilute it on your canvas by adding more water if you want to. Okay, I'm lifting some color up. I do not like how dark it looks right now. Alright. See how blue it looks? It's teal. I do not like my new camera. I'm going to dry it real quick, and I am going to start applying embellishment. And then, after embellishment done, it's actually only the half progress. We're going to, and then add more paint around embellishment to make it look like it's supposed to be there, okay? But right now, it's just, this is all part of the background. Ah! No. Okay. I'm looking at the chat. Sorry I'm not talking. I just love reading the chat. Alright, I think it's pretty much dried, and I'm gonna now just go over with some embellishment and go crazy with your embellishment. Do whatever you want. I'm just gonna do some flower, like really simple, okay? It's the easiest embellishment to go with. I love flowers. I just grab my flowers and put them on my projects and pop up and ta-da! It's finished. I love using flowers. Really, really fun and simple. So I'm just gonna take some little flowers out. These are the little Prima flowers. And I don't really care how many of them I take out on each package. This little one, I'm just gonna take out, you know, certain amount that I think probably is gonna work. Okay. And some from this one. See, I don't care. I don't care how many flowers I took out. So, and I'm gonna apply them randomly too, so it's not like there's any rhyme or reason behind it. There is not. So, I dipped my finger into the yellow paint. Alright, and I'm gonna do this cluster and this cluster first, because the cluster on this side is gonna be a bigger cluster, which is gonna be the focal point of your canvas. Okay, you're going to put most of your focus on the cluster right there. Now, if you want your other clusters to be more muted or not so attention drawing, you can always apply some like gesso, white gesso, or the color similar to a background to it, so it takes attention away from this from all those colors going on. I am not gonna do that because I love the colorful and messiness of this canvas. But if I am going to do other canvas, like really like a cleaner ones, I would definitely going over the two cluster right there with some white gesso to take away the attentions. Okay, glue strings everywhere, not fun. Definitely don't like glue strings. Okay, I'm gonna leave those little flowers aside and I'm gonna apply some big flowers right here. I love those new Prima Road flowers. They're so much fun. If you don't have them, you must have those. They're just so much fun to play with, and they're gorgeous little flowers. I never thought I would like road flowers. I remember there, like one time, there was a trend, like a trend. Yeah, I think that's how I pronounce the word. Where a lot of companies do the like the rolled flower dies, you know what I'm talking about? And then you roll the flower, like you roll the die cut together to make a flower. And I'm always like, it looks okay. I'm not really crazy about it. But until I see those really fun rolled Prima flowers, and I'm in love with those rolled flowers. And I'm going to make some of my own too, because they're so pretty. And these are all, these two, they're both from Bedtime Story Collection. Just in case you want to know. Alright. And that's you do not want to know what happened. Something just happened. I'm gonna pick him up real fast. I'm sorry. No, this is a mistake that you should never make. I just poured all of my metal embellishment on the ground. How fun. Don't do that. Okay, and I'm going to pick out some metal adornment from Fly Unicorn and just apply it on my canvas. I'm not really going to use the same one as I had before on the other one. I'm just going to randomly pick out some of them. Okay, and I like this little leaf. Let's see what else I want. And I probably want, I don't want to go for the nautical, this little flower probably. No. See, I'm picky about what I do. Okay, this little leaf, it looks really, really cute. And maybe this flower, and maybe this leaf, and maybe a little flamingo. I'm just gonna lay all the choices I think that I'm gonna use. Okay, and these are the choices. I'm probably just gonna use like one or two of them in the end. Okay. So, oh yeah, I think they're like flowers is the medicine for. It's like the aspirin for everything, you know. Like you take some aspirin and you feel better. It's like when you put flowers, your project just instantly looks better. I love flowers. I'm gonna use some fabric tech for those kind of non-paper tape embellishment. Actually, I'm gonna put some of little flowers on first before I put down the big old resin clock, because I want the resin clock to be kind of the center point. Well, not the center, but the focal point. So I want it to be on the topmost layer. So I'm just gonna apply some of the little flowers here and there. Like when you squeeze your fabric tag, it just keeps coming out with this stuff, and it's kind of annoying sometimes. I just have to keep using it until it doesn't come out anymore, you know? Okay. Now I think I probably put too many, but it's okay. That's definitely okay. I don't really care. More flowers, more better. Okay. So this is gonna be probably, I'm gonna change the configuration a little bit. I'm not gonna do the same configuration on the other canvas. I'm gonna put this flower right there. And if you have leaves, by all means put some leaves between your flower cluster. That's going to really make your flower cluster look so nice. But I don't really have many leaves in my stash at this moment. And this is the Prima clock resin. This is like the I think it's the resin in the box, but I have used, I think, pretty much all of it. This is the last one I have from the box. Gosh, I couldn't think straight today. Probably because I just ate. When I just ate, I think really slow. Okay. And I'm gonna apply some leaves right here. The metal leaf is so cute. I love those Flying Unicorn metal adornment. They just really adds a lot to your projects, you know. I'm gonna apply this one on top right here. Okay. And see, I am doing it completely differently than my original one because I wanted to try something different. I'm gonna play it around. Okay. Look at these really yummy metal embellishment. Look at the details on them. I love those. Definitely in love with those. I think I don't want to use this little flamingo. How about a little clock? Let's see. Sure, we can put a little clock somewhere, right? We can use this glue bubble on top of my glue bottle. And I'm gonna use it right there, behind my flower. Little dainty, cute little lock. Are we going to use this one? Is it already too much? It's never too much metal. Never. Alright, I think I'm going to use it right there, and that's going to be all the metal I'm going to put on my canvas. Okay. Alrighty. And then I am going to just paint those metal white. I normally don't paint metals white at all. Oh, I'm going to add this one. I forget this cute little hand. It's a Prima Wood Icon in a Box one. And I don't remember which collection it is, but it is on sale in Flying Unicorn store under your string special tab. Okay? So I'm just going to add this cute little hands. I love this. Like a little pointy hands. Like that. Alright. Okay, so I'm gonna just paint all of the metal white. I don't usually do that, but this time I'm doing it because I want to add colors to them, and I think the dark brownsy color of the paint doesn't really fit the overall thing, so that's why I'm doing that. And the one really nice thing about metal is that when you paint your gesso on it, it keeps the texture. But when you paint your gesso on, say, chippies, it loses the texture. You know, if your gesso is too thick, it will cover up the texture and leave a blank piece. But in metal or resin, it wouldn't do that. So I am in love with those metal embellishment. Definitely one of my favorite. Okay. Now the glue isn't really dried yet, but it's okay. We're going to move around the embellishment a little bit, but it's okay. Oh, how I love those texture coming through when you paint gesso on top. It's just beautiful. Definitely gorgeous. And I'm gonna paint this little wooden hands too. I'm going in like with really thick gesso so I don't have to do a second layer, you know, to save the time. And those metal embellishment really don't need a second layer either. Alright, see how now it looks already like kind of finished, but not really. I could just call it finished, but no, I cannot leave my project alone. I have to do more to it. Oh yes, Diva, I'm looking in the chat. Yes, I am in love with paper too. I have to use paper to line everything. I cannot do anything without some pattern paper. Oh my gosh, Cynthia, that is really cool. He's good at shaping flowers. I am not good at shaping flowers. You can make a unicorn video, YouTube, and tell us how to shape flowers. He can definitely do that. Alright, now you can see this is dried and glue is dried too. And I'm going to do more coloring. As you can see on this one, you can see there's some dripping going on, okay? That's created after I put on an embellishment. I want some dripping going on. I don't want it just to have those random colors going here and there. And like this part is way too much color, but it's okay. We can fix that really soon, and you'll see how we do that. So, what we're going to do? Hi, Shona. Hi. So, I'm just going to again use a splattering thing, okay? And where I splatter is where I'm going to do the dripping. Okay. So I could just do like use water, but sometimes I cheat a little bit. I use my my brush to do the dripping look. It's just, you know, simple and easy. And I don't need to do the hassle, but I'm gonna drip it a little too with tapping my canvas. Okay. I'm gonna definitely do the dripping, good old tapping dripping technique. But sometimes I just go straight with my brush and create some drips with my brush. Alright, there we go. Now we have some really yummy drips. And I want to have more yellow around this area because it's way too like blue. So I'm going to add some yellow here and it will become some greenish color so it's not so blue. Okay, and I'm going to absorb it up too. So see, I'll lift the color up and now I'm applying more yellow like that. I do not like the overwhelmingly tealish color right there, so I need to add more color to that. Okay, and then we're going to do with the red color. Now I'm going to apply another red paint. I'm not going to go with the spray anymore because the spray is really red, right? And it's really wet. So for everything that's so wet right now, it's going to mix with everything else. So I'm going to use a more of a thicker paint. This is the 13 Arts Matte Raspberry. Okay, it's really opaque and matte and concentrated. So you could just dilute it with water, but I'm just gonna apply it like almost like dry brushing it, but not really. But just kind of applying it to places that I think that needs more red color, especially around this area. But after this is dried, definitely not right now. And because it's opaque, you can apply it above the color you already have, and it's gonna cover up the color underneath it. So it's really useful. Play around with the properties of your paint, you know, either they're opaque or they're transparent. You can really make up a good combination between those properties of the paints. Thank you, Janelle. Hi, Paula. Hi. Just heat drying everything here. I want it to be relatively dry before I apply the red color spray. Okay. Alright, now we're good for the red color spraying. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do some little dripping action. Okay, everybody likes some dripping action. And the right one is right. Ooh, that's turning dark because the because the teal color paint. That's okay. It's mixing together. I'm going to add some right here. See, I just fake the drip look. I do that a lot. And it looks good, and it looks organic though, because I'm not really drawing it. I'm just guiding my paint. And the paint is still doing its own work. So yeah, I can definitely fake drippage. Can definitely do that. Alright, I'm gonna add more about on this area. Now let me dry it again, because this red color is mixing with all this teal color and it's becoming purple. Okay, and now I'm going to do one thing. Okay, I'm going to apply some gesso on the color. Now you're gonna be like, oh, why are you covering the color? I am not covering it, trust me. I'm just adding more texture. Okay, apply it really, really thickly though. If you do it really thin, you're gonna see the brush strokes, and we don't want the brush strokes in there. We want the clumps of white gesso. Okay, not the brush strokes. So make sure you do it like you apply your really, really thick layer instead of just brushing around with your brushes. And be like random too, okay? Don't go like at one places and make it completely white and leave other places completely colorless. I mean, completely, not white. So be random about it. Again, do it really thickly. Thick color is needed. Okay, and later on I am actually going to do some white color splattering as well, because I do want to have a lot of layers of color. I like to layer my color. So now me applying those white color paint, later I could definitely go over those white color and with some new colors. So it'll have the really fun layered look. That's how I do it. Many people might do it differently to layer their color, but I like to do this. I just paint some white and then just go over the white color again. Okay. Wash my brush real quick and then do it right at this corner. I am being really generous about applying the gesso. I just don't want I don't want any brush strokes to show. Like not even a little bit. Okay. So now we have a I'm sorry, always put it off of camera. So now we have crap. See, I've done it again. I have done it again. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, what a waste. That's okay. You guys didn't say anything. You did not see anything. I have to try it. I can't just scoop them up and put them. I said I've done that before and I did it again. Now this part is gonna stay. It's under my glass. It's okay. I don't care. It can stay there. Darn it. Okay. It's okay. Look at this beautiful color. Oh my gosh. I would totally say the F word too if I am not on camera. That is a waste of paint. I still have a half bottle left, so I'm pretty happy that I did not waste it all. Okay. Anyways. Let's do the yellow paint again. Alright. So see those white gesso area I just did, right? So now I can go over them with colors, and it's gonna add a whole new layer to your canvas, and it will not mix with the color underneath it, which is really nice. You can decide to paint this clock or not. I'm just going to go over it with light yellow real quick. Okay, like such. Ta-da! See, real pretty. Don't you just love this? It's so pretty. Okay. Now I'm gonna dry it really quick, and I'm going to mix some really watery and opaque white color. I'm gonna splatter on there, and I'm going to do one last step, and then we're going to be finished. Shannon, you don't want to hear that. Yeah, it is a piece of glass, and I have a piece of white paper underneath my glass. It's a really big poster paper, just so I can cover the ugliness of my tabletop. So yeah, it's not really glass, it's acetate, but it's the same thing to me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to scoop out some of the 13 yards acrylic gesso. The one good thing about their gesso is that they're super water soluble. So when you add water to it, they just dissolve like instantly, which is really awesome. Okay, I'm gonna put some water to it. Okay, and I'm gonna mix it, and it will not clunk when you mix with water, which is actually really nice feature to have. One big reason I love their gesso, you know, really water soluble, like really mixable with water. And I'll just make a really thick white color watery paint, but really thick too, so you can splatter on top of my canvas. I could just use a white glimmer mist, but I have not yet found a mist that is opaque enough for the look, because they always tend to mix with the color underneath them. So I want a really thick and opaque paint that can splatter. So that's what I'm doing. Okay. I'm going to just use my palette knife to do that. It's okay. Alright. And I love the white splatters because they really add a lot of texture when you have such mixed colored canvas. But you know, when you have a cleaner canvas, of course, you don't have to do that. But when I have a really mixed colored canvas like that, like a really messy one, I just love to add some white paint splatters. You make me laugh so bad. I try to watch my mouth, watch what I say. On camera only, not in everyday life. Okay, and now I'm going to do something really fun. I have not done this on this canvas because, you know, I just discovered this or just bought the product. It's the gold leaf, liquid gold leaf. Oh my gosh, I love it. Like, people have been, you know, like really, like a really fond of, like a big trend of adding this gold leaf everywhere. Right? Like gold foil everything. So we're gonna do that too, and I'm not gonna use my brush because it's gonna ruin my brush. It's not water. It's like those oil paint stuff, you know. So don't use your brush. You are going to ruin it unless you have a brush cleaner just designed for those. If you don't use a brush. Okay? But of course, I'm sure you can clean it with alcohol or some sort of oil-based cleaner afterwards, but just, you know, save the hassle. I'm just gonna apply this gold leaf. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I just got it like several days ago. It's so gorgeous. So I'm going crazy with it. It adds the gold foil look without have to buy an expensive gold foiling machine and then foil it on your stick. Foil it. Sounds wrong. And then foil it in a machine. I am immature, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know why I think it sounds wrong, but I'm just going to do the liquid gold foil on top of the flower, on the edges of the flower, so it adds a really nice shine to it. Okay? Now, you're going to want to clean your stuff really good after you use gold leaf, but it really looks like drops of liquid gold molten on your canvas. It's so pretty. I just love the look. And when it dries, it looks even prettier. Alright? And if you want to, do some gold leaf splatters. It's gonna end up looking really nicely. And I just love how it looks like little molten gold drops on your canvas. So that's the canvas. See, I think it looks really nice. It's not gonna be easy to clean this palette knife off later on, but it's okay. Art is messy, right? Okay, so I think that's the canvas we're creating today, and this is the boo-boo that we made today. Oh, I love making boo-boos like that on camera. That's just silly. I hope you guys like this canvas. Okay, see this? There's a really major difference between these two. This one, I used actually like a green color instead of teal color. This one used really like bluish teal color, and I spilled it all over my desk, and it's finding a way towards me. Look at that. So I hope you guys like it, and thank you guys so much for being here. I'm so happy. Every time it's my class, I'm so happy. And staying tuned next Wednesday, it's going to be Jennifer, and you guys will love, love, love her energy and the gorgeous project that she makes. Okay? Oh yeah, I definitely love the gold. You can't really see it on camera, I don't think, but oh gosh, in person, it looks just gorgeous. And you can see the reflections on here. Really, really beautiful. Thank you guys so much. So much. Oh yeah, what a mess. We had fun with this mess. Thank you guys so much. Oh, thank you, Carrie. Thank you. And I am going to turn the camera off, and I will be staying in the chat with you guys. Okay? So, bye.